Okay, what we're going to do here is a short video on how to make a Google form test. This was requested by a couple of students, so I want to go ahead and do a newer version of this so that you'll be able to see it. Remember, we go to New, and instead of using Docs, Sheets, or Slides, we're going to go over to the fourth option, which is Google Forms. From here, you would name your quiz that you're creating. So let's say that I'm doing the 13 colonies, and I want to do a 5-question quiz on it. It'd be 13 colonies. And I could put a description right here. If this was a chapter of a textbook, this is where I would add that component. All right. The moment I clean up or click up here where it says Untitled Form, it will put the heading that I included right here. Okay. Click it again. It automatically will update it again. So now we start with our questions. Well, first of all, the first thing we have to do is put an identifier on here. Every quiz that you create with Google Forms, you need an identifier. So always start with last name, first name, and then make it a required component of the quiz, and change it from multiple choice to a short answer. And this is where you'll add another question. If this bar is underneath, it's because we've zoomed in with the Control plus. Sometimes you'll see this will come down here and shrink and get underneath the box here that we're working on. But when you go to plus, this is where you'll add your first question. Since this is multiple choice, you will add 5 questions. This is where you would put in Delaware. That's how you make your questions. Okay. The next thing you do is add another question. Now the next question is fill in the blank. You get the idea. In fact, if I wanted to make this instead of a multiple choice, I could click off, right, and make it a short answer. Then they will have to provide the answer for the question. So you have a couple options here. So you can do multiple choice and you can do a short answer. Make it required. Now, a while ago, I did not make this one required. So once I make this required, I'll go back, click in, and then I can make it required. So you can click on any question, all right, to make it where you can go in and continue editing. Now, if I wanted to add an instructional aid, which I want inside of each one of your questions, I want to have a map and put it in here, right? So let's say I want a 13 colonies map. And what you do is when you click on the question, right here where the icon is where you have an option to put in a map. Okay? So let's do that with my third question. I'll scroll down. I'm going to go underneath here and go plus. And then I want to put in which state, got to number them. State is the furthest south. Let's rephrase it. Now I need a map. So I do 13 colonies, and I want a map. Okay, there's one without it being labeled. I'll use that one. So I'm going to take this picture. That's a good picture to use. Right click, save the image as, and I want to default this to my desktop. I always put it on my desktop when I'm working with things that I want to find quick. So now my 13 colonies. I'm in the question, right? So I'm in the question. Right click will automatically autocorrect. And right there is where you're going to add your images. And do this for each question. You just choose your image from the desktop. Double click. And now Google Forms will instantly put that object into your question. Now, if it's too big, which this is huge, I'm going to bring it in. There we go. Now I can make this multiple choice or fill in the blank, right? I'm going to go back to multiple choice. I'll put Georgia first. I think y'all got the idea. There we go. I'll be that guy. None of the above. So you want 5 questions. You want to make sure they're all required. When you are done, okay, you will take your quiz that you've created. It auto saves everything you do once you make the next question. Go to the preview. Now that's what I want you to share with me. You're going to copy this URL, and then you're going to post that into our discussion board area. Your other option is you could have went to send. I'm not going to confuse you. Let's stay with that one. Go to the eyeball right here where it says preview, and then copy this URL, and then put that in your discussion board. That's how you will make your Google Form quiz. 5 questions. I want a picture like this one in each of them, making every question required, and then also make sure the first component is last name, first name. So that's it on how to make a Google Form.